Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity to practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, now so welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Constant Brooks. And basically, this episode is the end of May, the end of May update, end of May, because we are at the end of May, and when this is released, we'll be at the start of June, so May turn that to the end of another month. We have to celebrate, and yeah, so how has May been for me? I can generally say it has been a very good month, a very nice month. A very nice month. I can say I ended May feeling at this moment kind of happy, happy. And why is that, Yeah. Well, a lot of things happened this month. So basically, I guess the first thing is, unfortunately, I didn't reach below the 200-pound mark. I'm at 202 pounds. And one of the reasons was that I was on the path, but what happened was basically I actually donated some blood, as you may known from one of my previous episodes. And that actually kind of really, really drained my energy. Like literally, I could not wake up early for a few days. It's like recently I actually start exercising again, and it's still hard for me actually coming out of bed. I feel like really tired. Really tired. So and then to actually do the exercise, it's like two things now. So it's one of those things that I actually have to realize that donating blood, it's actually it's a significant amount of blood. Because when I actually finish donating the blood, I never really feel that bad, But basically, what happened was the after effects, bro. It really shows me how significant amount of the blood I actually donated. Yeah, so I'm still recovering, and it kind of makes sense now when I actually see. I think I got one of slips that said that I can't donate until like a few months down, like way down till maybe September or something like that. So it kind of makes sense now because actually replacing that amount of blood. Yeah, actually, isn't going to be as easy as I thought, and I guess it should make sense as a person that has recovered from anemia. Yeah, so I, being anemic and whatnot was one of the reasons why I kind of was skeptical about actually donating blood in the first place. But what happened was my everything, the nurses do the proper checks and then and said, okay, yeah, I can actually do it and whatnot. So it was a really easy process, but the after effect, man, I'm still recovering from it, still recovering from it. So other from that now, one of the things that I actually was doing was, as I said, there were some stones like around the house part, not the backyard, the house area. There are two sides, so basically I actually finished one side and actually just like, because the thing is the stones are piled up, so what I wanted to do was basically line them out around the house, around the whole yard. And I actually did that, and what happened, I realized was that the first set basically spanned the whole yard, so now I have the second set of stones that I have to move, and I don't really know where I'm going to put it, But the thing is, the goal is when I actually move it and actually find a place to put it, being that they actually just ordered, they're not really piled up together. The thing, what happened was when I was actually moving those stones, that it's like it's heavy. It's just like when I was doing the initial clean of the backyard. It was a lot of stuff and it was heavy, and so I basically landed out and such like that. So it kind of looks more ordered, So that's the next thing I want to do for the next side. And when that's finished now, the plan would be that would basically finish all the initial things that I want to do with the yard. So the next goal would be to basically the maintenance of the make it the yard looks good, and then maintaining that look. So that would be the next goal. So yeah, so that would actually takes money and finance and such like that. So yeah, it's not as easy as it think, And as also I'm on the job hunting grind. Yeah, as you may have heard from the 95 episode. Yeah, so I'm on the job hunting grind. So yeah, and this time hopefully I'm in a better position now, because I'd actually change up a few things and actually go to different places now. So yeah, so and I got some callback that give me some really good information. So I have to take those into account and then see, so I'm approaching it with a better strategy than I had the first time that I actually tried, previous times that I tried, So ideally, hopefully something better should have come out. And what else is that I'm a more confident version of myself now, back to the previous time. Previous times, I was trying to come out of my shell, trying to find myself, and now I'm kind of in a better version of myself now. Yeah, so that's one of the good things, more better version of myself. Anything else? Oh, what else? Beer stand this month, as you should have known, and the weekly I go to one of my previous guests, Tyler's dance session, as one of the ways I actually go to actually lose weight on this lose weight journey. And what I've noticed this month was that, after every session, I just feel at peace. That's why I said I started this episode say I'm feeling happy. Like, I don't know if because I'm actually losing weight or whatnot, but bro, like recently I just feel so at peace. I feel so peaceful. It's like the peace is just happiness. Straight happiness. I can't really describe it over the podcast, but yeah, I just feel so at peace and so happy. It makes me, and it's one of the things that actually contributes to the confidence that I have now, and the betterment of my way I present myself and the things that I say. Is after the dance session, I usually talk to some of the Thailand and some of the other people, and I realize that I'm better able to communicate my point that I usually talk about. Things that I usually talk about, but people would never understand it, because it's one thing when I speak it. When I speak something, or people, if you listen to the podcast, like for example, the Plan Executive, I speak. The best way to describe myself is that I speak from the future. I like the vision, the thing that I want. I envision myself. I don't have it now, so I have to imagine myself in the future and then reverse engineer back to the present, so that I have a step to see how I would get it, if you get what I mean. So sometimes when I talk about some things, it doesn't make sense to you in that moment because it's like me projecting into the future. So so if you listen to some of my previous episodes, it will be me projecting into the future, which some of those episodes you will listen to and say, oh, it makes sense, that makes sense and such like that. But then it was just me manifesting in the future what so that's one of the things. But what I've realized is that I'm better able to more communicate my my points easily, and I'm but one of the things that I guess I know in the real world is that the time to actually establish the point, because while I know I'm more confident in what I know because I've gained experience and stuff like that. I'm more confident in what I know and how I do things. No, the second problem, the next problem that I realized, during these talks and stuff like that, is I may not have the time to really go and explain to someone. I convince them. So basically, this podcast, for example, some of the episodes are very long, some are short, and some people don't really have time to listen to all the episodes. Some may listen to the start of the episode and get bored. But what but you not listening to the full episode and such like that, you may miss the point that I'm trying to get across in that episode. So what you may not realize is that the every episode is basically a reflection of my thought process at that point, based on everything that I've learned up to that point. And then the next episode is just a reflection of me on another topic in the future. But what happens is that if you ask me about those topics again, if you meet me in real life and ask me about those topics again and such like that, I could explain it to you. But it's one thing to explain. It's one thing for you to listen to me telling you about it, but it's another thing to execute. For example, picking up those stones. I told you about the stones that I actually move, but actually the actual manually picking up those stones and actually landing them out is hard work. That's one of the things, that's one of the things, and I guess another thing, on this update, I got my first critique, which is basically, one of my the person that student thing said he's not impressed by the podcast and such like that. So I guess then one of the future episodes that you have to look forward to is me kind of reminding what the podcast is really about, because I guess something that I realized that we are getting new audience, new people are listening to it, and they are tuning in at different points. So some may listen to this first episode and really don't, and just make their judgment based on this episode, and then you have those that are listening from the start, that may kind of get the gist of it. But so I have to do another episode to kind of re-establish what the podcast is about, because to really, so that people can really understand what it is about. So that's one of the next thing. So that's basically it. Feeling very happy about this month. I think maybe one of the reasons is because I don't think it's no. I think it's just me being at peace. There's no magical explanation. There's no logical explanation as to why. I just feel at peace and happy. If you listen to some of the January episode and such like that, you just see me talking about it's the risk and such like that, being a homeowner. Happening is the risks aren't not gone; they're still here. But I think I've become more at peace and and knowledgeable of the fact that I can only control what I can control, and then I can't control everything else that is out of my control. And I guess it's me over time accepting that and doing the things that I can control, you know. So the things that I control allow me to really regain this peace that I have now. And I have to be very grateful for that. I have to be very grateful for that. And if you listen to this, you have actually made to the end of May. And yeah, we have to be really cool, happy and for that. Because, hey, more opportunities there for us to achieve stuff in June, bro. If life is just too chill, bro. Too chill. Too chill. You have to just, every day I just find something to be happy about. And what I've realized that every day, as I progress more and more, I'm finding more things to be happy about because I'm getting closer and closer to my goals, even though they're still far away. Some goals that I achieved before, like for example, getting my university degree, and other goals that I'm progressing that I never really have. I thought they would be a pipe dream, but they're coming along. So that's, you have to really be happy. You have to really be happy about the reaching the end of May and start of June because new month, new opportunities. You have to be happy about the new opportunities. So that's it for this episode. For those who listen, guys, I love you, bro. I love you. To me, it does get empathic. I think it's a piece, me becoming more loving. And I'm like, bro, guys, I love you guys for listening. Yeah. And we're coming to another milestone soon. So I guess I have that also to really talk about. So yeah, after, bro, I love you guys for listening. Even I think, guys, come go and Reframing Mindset Podcast on Instagram or at Reframing P on Twitter and just shout me out so I know you are. Yeah, I say, yo, Rolly, I made it to June. We did it. Life is fun, bro. Life is fun. Like one of my previous podcast guests, I listen to her podcast every day, every Monday, I should say, which is led be. I can't I can't do it, but her message is basically, life is beautiful. Life is always beautiful, even in a dark place, and I guess listen to her podcast episode for so long. I guess she indoctrinated me to believe in that life is always beautiful, even in a dark place. So, yeah, it does what it does. It does. I'm glad I make it this far because every day I'm finding more things to be happy about, even though there are a lot of things to be frustrated about as well. There's more things to be happy about, and you have to just be happy. So, congratulations for us making it to the end of May. More prosperity, hopefully in the month of June, and congratulations again. Yeah. So, thank you for listening. I look forward for the next episode. Yeah, man.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/CSSB/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
What is the podcast about? Because as may have known from the last episode, I got my first critique. You know, I had a good critique. A person said that okay, the the podcast wasn't that impressive. I guess it's understandable, as it as he's a new person, that came in to the podcasting, and many people have come listen to my podcast and don't really understand where I actually started from. So basically, I actually did an episode about how I started podcasting, which I will actually put in the description. But I think the title is How I Started Podcasting. So